Welcome to Pivot Parenting, where we help parents of teens overcome regret and disappointment to find peace and connection in every situation. I'm Heather Frazier, your parenting expert. Journey with me to discover effective parenting tips, improve family relationships, and build a brighter future for your kids. Buckle up, things are about to get better. Hey, my friend, welcome to Pivot Parenting. Today, we are talking about an oh so juicy topic, the long game of parenting. And this topic came to me in reflecting in my own early adolescence of raising kids and what I've been seeing with clients. And sometimes I just, look at buzzwords and all different ideas for topics. And of course, as always, if you want me to discuss a topic for you, send it to me. Email me, DM me, however you can find me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. And I also have an email list that I have to say I give really phenomenal, tiny little chewy bites of goodness once a week. And my pen pals are the first to know about summits that I'm speaking at, other speaking engagements, my book news. Did you guys know I'm getting ready to publish my second book? It's going to be super juicy. And my pen pals are the first to know about all good things. And I'm speaking at a summit in April. So if you want a free ticket to that and you want all the details, you need to be on my email list. It's easy to get on my email list. heatherfrazier.com, scroll to the bottom, give me your first name and your email. Boom, done. And then you will always be in the know, because sometimes on social media or here on the podcast, we miss things. But if I send it to your email, it's harder to miss juicy details. But I digress. This topic of playing the long game matters because parents get caught up in the battle of patience versus impatience, or rather compliance over teaching, or another way of seeing this is prefrontal long game versus amygdala right here, right now desires. And this sabotages us because we get stuck in the trap of short-term wins, homework, chores, immediate obedience. I was just looking through different Facebook groups, and this mom was fighting with her son because of his hair. She needed his hair cut, and he was a legal adult and didn't want his hair cut, and that's what they were fighting over. And so I know that this topic is really relevant because it sabotages what parents really want. Whenever I talk with parents, it all boils down to like two things. If I can just keep digging and keep digging, I get to one of these two things or both pretty much every time. They want peace. They want peace of mind in their heart, peace around what the future could look like. And they want to know that they haven't messed their kid up, that they've done a good job, that they're a good parent, even though they know that they have failed in certain areas, or they think they've failed in certain areas. And when we get stuck in the trap of short-term wins, we sabotage both of those deeper desires. How this, in one simple way, played out for me is when one of my kids was in early adolescence, I would ride them so hard because of their hygiene. Their teeth, their greasy hair, it just drove me bananas. And I was essentially ruining our relationship because I couldn't handle how dirty their hair was. This is an exact example of me thinking that them not knowing how to properly wash their hair or having a desire to do so is more significant than maintaining trust and love. And I'm not saying that hygiene isn't important, it totally is, but we have to prioritize our values. Because oftentimes when we can express unconditional love, no matter what, then these little nitpicky things fall into place on their own, which feels better to everybody. So short-term compliance isn't the goal. Long-term skills that teens actually need is the goal. And when we engage in power struggles, it becomes a power struggle instead of teaching, mentoring, loving. And so we really want to avoid power struggles. And I have a whole podcast on power struggles. I don't know if you know this, but I'm on all the podcast platforms, of course. But on my website, in the search bar, you can search any topic because I think this is episode 255. I have a lot of episodes. So you can pop in keywords like lying, saying, I don't know, power struggle, and it will come up with all of the podcasts and materials that I have for you on the topics that you are currently struggling with. So let's dive right in. I'm going to break our episode down into 3 sections. The first section is the trap of short-term wins. The second section is what your teen really needs. And the third section is how to shift from those short-term power struggles to long-term wins. Because we all feel good when we get the win. All right, so the trap of short-term wins. Parents focus on behavioral control because it is visible, because it is immediate. It is the low-hanging fruit, and it is driven by our amygdala, that immediate gratification monkey of if my kid can keep their room clean, get their homework done, and be kind, then everything is good. But I'm here to tell you that that is a lie because I have a kid like that. And those are actually sometimes, not always, sometimes they are good. But parents just make the assumption if it looks good, then it is good. No, they can be struggling with anxiety, depression, uh, self-harm, all kinds of crazy things. And they're doing all the right things. They're checking off our boxes of turning in their homework, of cleaning their room, of helping clean up dinner. And so when parents get stuck on these short-term wins and they're winning, we really don't want to let the ball drop of paying attention to reading between the lines. Another thing about these short-term wins is that oftentimes parents are showing up in fear, frustration, wanting to control, and it can feel really productive, but it's not. Again, when we zoom out and look at the big picture, I want you to take a second and be honest with yourself. What do I want with my child a year from now, 5 years from now, when they have a family of their own? What do I want? What is your big picture, deep soul yearning goal with your child? And that love, that desire for connection, is where we want to address greasy hair and doing chores, because that will feel so much more loving and productive for you and them. Another thing that I've noticed with parents, and I'm guilty of it as well, is when we are looking for these short-term wins, oftentimes we become so impatient because we need the dishes done. We need things to happen. And so it can be like, what do you want for breakfast? What do you want for breakfast? What do you want for dinner? And they're like, I don't know. And we give them like 50 bajillion options. Has this ever happened to you? It happens to me almost every morning with my youngest. Do you want banana bread that I just baked? Do you want Fruity Pebbles? Do you want me? She likes to say, she likes normal meals for breakfast. So I'll be like, do you want a grilled cheese and tomato soup? Do you want, like, I'll list off 1,000 things. And she's like, I don't know. And then I realize what I'm doing. And that is, I am wanting to feed her over enabling her to be, she's a big enough girl to figure her own life out. We also do this when our kids procrastinate until we end up doing their task. Hey, I need your room clean. Hey, I need your room clean. Hey, I need these dishes done. Hey, I need your laundry taken upstairs. And they wait and they wait, and then we do it. Does this happen at your house? Because it totally happens at mine. Like, I just want the stinking laundry basket out of the room. And so I eventually take it upstairs because my kid doesn't do it. And we have to be really careful to not infantilize our child. And the root word of that is infant. And it is putting on infancy to our child. It is essentially, and they're complicit in this oftentimes because they know secretly that if I don't do it, mom eventually will. And if I say, I don't know how, mom will be like, here's how, and do it for me. Because we want a short-term win. We want the thing done over teaching our child that they can do things for themselves. One of the best moves I've made recently is when my kids say, I don't know what I want to eat. I say, great, well, there's options in the fridge. Figure it out. And then that's it. I just say, okay. And then when I'm making up my grocery order, I'll pass my phone around and I'll say, any food that you want to take to school or snacks, breakfast, put it in the cart. And then they are responsible to put their favorite cereal or protein bar or whatever it is into the cart so that they can decide what they want to eat for breakfast and help themselves. The long-term result of infantilizing our kids is that oftentimes they can push back and rebel. They can resent us because they don't have autonomy, or probably worst of all, they become completely dependent on us. They buy into the lie that they are incapable of doing things on their own. The trap of short-term wins, we have consequences day of, and we have consequences in the long road. And what's actually happening when parents focus on these little daily, short-term, immediate gratification wins is that we're reinforcing external motivation instead of internal motivation. What I mean by that is you're in charge of keeping mom happy instead of what fits my needs today. We're missing what's really going on beneath their behavior. Again, whether they're too compliant or too non-compliant, there's something else going on that actually is the bigger deal, more than cleaning the bathroom. And then you're weakening your long-term trust and communication because they can't articulate it, but they understand that they are not what's most important, but what they are doing and how they are performing is more important to you. It is a form of objectification, which I have a whole podcast on how we objectify our kids. It's one of my most favorite podcasts if you want to search that one as well. But when we feel objectified, like my mom only likes me when I do my chores or when I don't have any late assignments, it completely destroys long-term trust, communication, connection. And so we really need to be mindful of this trap of thinking that the short-term wins are where we need to focus. Yes, it is important to teach and model healthy skills for our kids. That is not the point of why we have kids or why we are parenting. Hi there. I just want to pause and let you know if you are struggling to make sense of your teens' behaviors, emotions are running wild, and you're looking to turn things around to have the family you dreamed of while rocking them to sleep, I would love to talk to you. I want to give you a special, powerful gift. 30 minutes with me, my friend. You'll walk away with more confidence, clarity, and understanding of what the issue is and your next best step in resolving any situation you bring to me. It's completely free. I love families and want to help yours be wildly happy and successful. Book this call by visiting my website, heatherfraser.com. Remember, Fraser is spelled with a Z-I in the middle. And don't worry, the link is also in the show notes. I look forward to meeting and helping you. So what does your teen really need? Let's talk about the second portion of this episode. They don't need more reminders, lectures, threats, rescuing. They need life skills. They need you to mentor them on how to emotionally regulate, to problem solve, to foster independence and self-trust. They need you to not worry about the little things so that you can help them manage what is going on within them. They need to know how to handle stress and anger and overwhelm because these are just human experiences that give us these emotions. They're unavoidable. And oftentimes in adolescence, it feels so big and scary and overwhelming. Did you know that not only are they growing inches as they sleep, their brain is also exploding with growth? And so one of the things is their neural pathways are exponentially gaining volume in so many ways. And so when they have a lot of emotions, they literally have more emotions coursing through their brains and bodies than adults do because that growth spurt has ended for us. And so for us to be upset is one measure of neural transmission, and for them to be upset is a much higher measure. And so something small or insignificant to us actually feels really big to them. Physiologically, they can't help it. So we don't want to call our kids drama queens or attention magnets or any of those things. They just have a lot of emotions. And as a parent, we need to learn how to emotionally regulate ourselves so that we can stay calm in these moments and we can teach them, whether it's breathing skills, how to move your body in productive ways, understanding your emotions, all those different things. Number 2 is problem solving skills, learning how to navigate obstacles without you rescuing them. And I will say the most pivotal piece in this is for you to step back and allow them to fail. I know that that is a hard pill to swallow, but that is how they will problem solve. Let them figure it out, sometimes by failing, sometimes by succeeding. And that doesn't mean that you just walk away and say, figure it out. You can say, I am here to help and support you. How would you like me to help you? I'm unwilling to do that project for you, but I can do this portion, or I can help you with this. I'm unwilling to call your teacher for you, but I'll help you craft an email that you can send asking for what you need. Any of those kind of things. Essentially, we are taking a passenger role instead of the driving role in their life. And eventually, we won't even be in the car. We'll just be cheering them on. And then we need to help them foster independence and self-trust. Some kids naturally gravitate toward independence. Other kids naturally gravitate towards dependence on you or on their friends, or getting a boyfriend or girlfriend and being dependent on them. And so it's important wherever your kid is at to figure out different strategies to teach them how to believe in their ability and to make good choices. And this is one of the things I work with clients all the time. It's too detailed and too intricate and personalized to really go into a podcast. But it is possible to model this and help foster this within your kid. If we only focus on the short-term compliance, you miss out on teaching your kid how to manage their own responsibilities without nagging, how to self-regulate when things get hard, and how to trust themselves and their decisions. And these things don't go away when they leave the house. They actually get much, much worse. I'm sure that you can think of several people you've heard of who their kid goes away to college, has a complete meltdown, and can't handle it. This is one of the many ways we can help immunize our children against that. Let them have hard things as early as possible and as much as is tolerable and safe for them. We don't want to focus on short-term compliance. We are sabotaging our kids. Actually really good if they question our authority, if they push back on rules that they don't think are good. We need these types of people in our society that stand up for what they think is important. All right. So that is what your teen really needs. And sometimes it's not what we need, at least not the part of us that just wants an easy life. But again, when we can look at the big picture of what we really need, what we truly desire, of feeling connected, peaceful, having a close relationship with them, knowing that we're doing our best, they do align. And then the third section of the episode is how to shift from your short-term battles to long-term wins. Step number 1, we have to reframe success. Success is not having a clean house at the end of the day and all the laundry's put away and there's no missing assignments. Success is defined by if you choose to decide you're successful and if your teen is successful. It's literally all it is. Success is so arbitrary and fraught with opinion. So I always suggest to choose that you're successful. You're doing an amazing job and your kid is amazing and successful. And yeah, there might still be dishes and they might be flunking biology. You can still choose to reframe it as success. And we do this by asking ourselves, am I raising a future adult that understands choice and consequence, that understands agency, that takes accountability, or that at least I'm not taking their accountability so that is there for them to learn from? Or am I just trying to control a kid? Instead of did they obey, ask, how did we all learn more from how it played out today? Focus on teaching skills instead of compliance. Step number 2 is to let go of control and build influence instead. That means throwing out the checklist and fostering a real relationship. Stop micromanaging. Let them experience natural consequences. Build trust and connection so that they come to you because they know that you are safe before things really get bad. Step number 3, address the root cause of what's happening. If your teen fights you on everything, ask yourself, what are they really struggling with? Well, it could be that their best friend died 6 months ago and they're still trying to process that loss. I recently heard about this with a kid that I know. His friend had committed suicide and his behavior a year later is still related to that. And it's heartbreaking, but it's important to know your kid isn't lazy. They're not disrespectful. There's something else going on. They're overwhelmed. They're scared. They're unsure. They're anxious. They're having thoughts themselves that are scary to them. An example could be a teen who refuses to do their homework may actually fear failure. They don't feel like they're smart enough to be in the honors class. It might not be defiance. So we have to figure out and address the root cause there. And then step 4 is to model emotional regulation. It's insane to me that we expect from others what we can't even figure out and do for ourselves. If you're constantly stressed and reactive and you can't manage and calm yourself and self-soothe in healthy ways, that's the example that we're setting for our kids. And again, there's something going on for you that needs addressing. And we all have these things. Not all of us are cool as a cucumber 24/7. And having kids, parenting, it highlights what we have yet to heal within ourselves and our wounds. And so it can be a beautiful symbiotic relationship if we are humble enough to allow acknowledgement of how we are hurting and what we expect our kids to do to compensate for our emotional state. That's not nice to them. That's our work to be done. And when we do our work, we model for them how to emotionally regulate and how to love themselves and apply compassion to themselves, which is one of the best skills that we can teach other people. We want to show them how to handle hard things without losing our minds. And this is how they learn to self-regulate and take accountability is through our example. And I always advise people to be as transparent and vocal about this to their kids as possible. For example, you're sitting down at dinner, everybody's kind of bugged, something happened after school or whatever. Hey, I'm feeling really tense right now because we haven't really addressed what happened earlier today. Can we all just breathe together for a minute? Or I'm going to breathe if anybody wants to join me. Or I'm sorry and I'm going to own my part of how I contributed to the problem. And then own it and apologize for it. Our kids need to hear our apologies as often as there's like something to apologize for. It is not a sign of weakness to acknowledge our failings and shortcomings. It is actually a sign of strength. And our kids need us to model that. So, wrapping things up, the biggest mistake parents make is focusing on obedience versus growth, connection, unconditional love. And we do this subconsciously because of our lens and what we were taught was important and what would provide safety. So all of this, I don't want you to use to judge yourself. If we grew up in a house that was militant and our parents dictated their approval over how well we did our chores, well, it makes sense why we are so hung up on chores and getting our kids to properly clean a toilet and help put away dinner. But we do not have to be the product of our circumstances because we have a really great tool called a brain. And we can use that brain to see ourselves clearly and to choose different and to change patterns and to heal wounds. We all have wounds and we all have unhealthy patterns. It's not a problem, genuinely, no judgment. And anybody who's judging you is unwilling to see their own wounds. And that's okay. We can still love them. But we have to shift our mindset from daily control to long-term connection. And this approach leads to more trust and respect between you and your child, a stronger relationship that lasts into adulthood. So that 5-10 year goal, it's going to happen. And less stress, fewer battles, more peace at home. We have to let go of the short game in order to win the long game. Irony is that when we focus on the long game, that short-term game, because our kids love us so much and they feel so connected to us, they will ask, hey, do you need help making dinner? Can I do this for you? I'm going to the store. Do you need anything? And they will fill in those boxes in a way that feels connecting and intuitive to them. And that, my friend, is a win. So if any of this is resonating with you, I realize that a lot of it is very custom, specific, situational stuff. Please book a call with me. I offer a peaceful parenting call. It's like 30-40 minutes. We will create a custom plan exactly for you to build long-term connection, confidence, peace with your teen. The link is in the show notes, and I hope to talk to you soon.
Heather is the one, an expert in the field. She knows her parenting stuff, including how confusing it can be. You've tried it all, and it's a lost cause. Crying in the closet 'cause you failed at being a mom. But think again, there's peace around the corner, and there's hope in your hands. Your kid just wants your love.